What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It's your boy, Studio Maguyver, and you are listening to Studio Maguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, if you're into nerd culture, video games, then you've come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. So, without further ado, I want to welcome everybody to podcast episode 230. 230 fucking episodes. Yes, it's a lot. But man, I'm here. We got it done. And I have some things to talk about with you guys today. One in particular, I'm going to be talking about some Vegeta talk. Yes, I had a chance to go back, watch, and go through chapter 75 again. And it brings up a important discussion. I also been watching a lot of the top YouTubers that I fuck with out here in the Dragon Ball universe. And there's a lot of shit to discuss. There's a lot of shit to talk about. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into why I think Vegeta's new form isn't what it seems. Going to break that down, and we're going to start that off first. But before I do, I also want to talk a little bit about Gamescom. Yes, Gamescom 2021 is came and gone, and I want to talk about a few bright spots in there. Majority of the stuff, there was a lot of indie games. There were a lot of rehashings going on about other games that we already know about, and games I've already personally talked about with you guys on this show. So I'm going to pinpoint a couple of things that you guys should be looking out for. Some dates. We got some release dates for some AAA games. Going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, man. And then there were some indie games. But in particular, there's a lot of indie games coming out in the month of September. I'm going to talk about a couple of those. And yeah, so let's go on with the fucking show. To all my listeners, long time or short time, you guys can definitely help out the show if you go to www.studiomaguyver.com. You can check out all of my social media handles there. You can also show love and support the show very easily if you want to purchase any merch. With that purchase of the merch, you'll definitely be helping out the show. You got coffee mugs, you got t-shirts, you got hoodies, and everything else in between, guys. So yes, definitely check out StudioMaguyver.com. Get your ass a warm butter t-shirt. Get your ass, a hoodie, something, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you go to the store. All right, new things coming on the horizon. Yes, sir. So with that being out of the way, guys, let's get into the motherfucking show, and I'm gonna start with Vegeta. Gonna talk about Vegeta. Gonna talk about manga chapter 75. And the reason why I want to bring this up and talk about this now is because I had a chance to go back and look at everything. And once I looked at everything, I was kind of rushing a little bit. And I didn't get a chance to let the shit marinate. And what I mean by that is I missed a lot of shit, and I'm sure a lot of us did when all this news came out, because the big talk on the internet was all about Vegeta, leading up to this chapter, like, oh yeah, he's going to finally do something. He's finally going to get a win, all these things. And right now, as it stands, the battle is not completely over. I'd say it's about 75% over right now. He technically hasn't been beaten yet, but he is on the downslide of this battle. Okay, his body has betrayed him. There's some things that happened, and everybody was talking about the new form, what this is going to be, what it's going to entail, all these things. And now we have a little bit more information after the information had a chance to sink in, and there's still more on the horizon, and I'll get into all that too. But what I want to start out with is his form, the ultra ego. He literally named that shit on the fly as he was fighting, and that brings up an even more important, I guess, topic in this conversation, because it's fresh. I mean, I said that before. I mean, we know a lot of the Dragon Ball recipe, how the stuff is written, how things have to get done to proceed to get on to other things. And one of these things is the formations and how they're created and all of that. Usually when you have a new form, when you're saying, you typically don't have a grasp on it yet. It's fresh. It's new. I kind of look at it as, my son for a lot of instances. In my opinion, my son is like he's 8 years old, but he's just a ball of energy, just running around, just whatever, So that form he has not mastered that form. In other words, he will not. I can give him a game. I can give him whatever he wants, and I can say, be on your best behavior. Don't move around. Don't talk, or keep it down. And he'll say, okay. He'll try, but his body will not allow him to do it for an extended period of time. He has to get around, move around, jump around the couch, all these things, because it's that ball of energy. I kind of look at that in a sense of these Saiyan transformations when they first come, when they first appear. Okay, this Ultra Ego transformation that Vegeta has is so fresh. He literally got it while he was fighting Granola in that battle. He literally just woke it up, kind of like how Granola did the same thing to him, how he awoken his power by fighting Vegeta and going to that limit, getting pushed to that limit. Now, this is why I say pump your brakes a little bit on this fight. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Vegeta is going to, he could win this fight, but even if he wins this fight, he's not going to, in my personal opinion, going to win the major fight. The major, whoever's the major boss it ends up being in this, I have no idea. But whoever it is, he's not going to win that. Okay, and I say that because if you look at proof, that's going to give you your answer. Now, could we be surprised? Could something come out of the blue and they throw us a curveball? Yes, that's always possible. But they've always went the route that they're going now. Whatever route this is, they've stuck to it. Nothing has changed. Vegeta shows you that he has a new ability, or he can do this, he can do that, and then what happens? He gets fucked in the end. It's just always been that way, and I think it's not gonna stop. I hope it will stop, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys that it is going to stop, because I don't see it in the horizon. It just keeps on keeping on, and people are getting disappointed. People are frustrated. I've talked about my frustration. I'm sure a lot of people out there have vented their frustration with the direction that a lot of this writing is going. But then you have to always tell yourself, 9 out of 10 of us are going to go back to the series, are going to read the next manga chapter, are going to watch the anime when it comes out, because we still love the series. You know, it's like, yeah, we love to bitch and moan about it, but we still love it. We're still going to come back to it. And like I said before in previous episodes, guys, there would be no discussions. There would be no upset people, fans, whatever you want to call us. There would be none of that if it wasn't for Toriyama picking up a pen and paper and making something happen. It just wouldn't be possible. So for the simple fact that that exists, that these characters exist, or is a blessing in disguise for some people, because it feels like we're being snowed, we're being, led astray, but we're not. I mean, we know what's coming, and 9 times out of 10 it always happens that way. So I mean, we can't really be mad for, or if it's going the way we predicted it, in a sense. It's a lot of mixed feelings. There's a lot of things involved with this series, guys, as a whole, and how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, I have to say that I truly love the series. I truly love the characters. I mean, I've spent hundreds of dollars on merch and all these things, some of it which I'm wearing now. And it's just, I'm a fan of the series. So yes, I'm going to be passionate, and other people listening or watching or even talking about this stuff, they're just passionate fans venting their frustrations and things that should be, maybe possibly changed. Because now with the internet and everything, we have the power and the ability to call people on whatever they put out. I mean, if you say something, 9 times out of 10, they can go back behind what you said and find out that source, get that source, and they can call you out on it. So be very careful what you talk about online, especially when you're talking about facts and things of that nature, because somebody's out there knowing that they can go out and they can pull up this information and call you on it, and with all these characters that Toriyama has created, there's bound to be mistakes, there's bound to be plot holes, and he even said it himself. He's forgotten stuff, he's forgotten abilities, he's forgotten moves about certain characters. All these things he's not shied away from. And now we're in this world where everything, when it concerns Dragon Ball, is completely off the cuff, man. I mean, canon does not fucking matter anymore. Okay, we got a new Brawly now who's completely different. We got, a new fucking Bardock in that movie, in that story, because, he changed that story up. So there's a lot of that going on, and I feel some type of way about it. I kind of feel like we're in a Marvel universe or a DC comic book universe now, because, anything can change. Whatever you feel about a certain character could easily be changed completely overnight if Toriyama felt the need to do so, or Toyotaro, if he gave him permission to do so. So we're standing there, and I'm trying to embrace it all, as opposed to just bitch and moan about all the things all the time. But it's just so frustrating, because on one hand, there's a lot of things that are canon about the series that will never change. You know, the core, you know, aspects of a lot of this stuff. But then there's a lot of things around it that could easily be cemented as canon, but it's not, because it gets changed and flipped around and all these other things. So I'm going to try to keep an open mind moving forward with whatever comes, you know, in front. Whatever else comes out, whatever else is written, you have to, because if you don't, you're just going to be mad all the time about it, and it's not worth it, you know, especially over a series that you're passionate about and you actually love. You know, just learn to kind of embrace what it is. I mean, yes, I'm going to bitch and moan more. There's going to be episodes I'm probably sure that I'm going to be venting frustrations and talking to you guys about certain things, and I'll be doing the same thing on my new Dragon Ball channel, which should be up and running around this time next week. All right, haven't done any content for it yet, but I intend to do that. Still working on the channel, you know, with things that go with it, you know, intros, outros, and stuff like that. But it's wrapping up pretty nicely. But yes, I'm going to be doing that a lot, discussing, you know, Dragon Ball stuff on there. I'll be playing Dragon Ball games, you know, a lot of Budokai Tenkaichi 3 videos will probably be uploaded on there, so be looking out for all that, and I'll keep you guys posted every week as I discuss this stuff on the show. So I will keep you guys in the loop so you'll know what's going on and stuff. But yeah, man, definitely want to get into that. Excited about that. But yeah, I mean, this Vegeta situation here, let's jump back on this. I got a little sidetracked, but there's a lot of things that if you're reading between the lines, you can find and you can see. Perfect example of that would be how like I said before, he unlocked this ability for the first time, so it's fresh. He doesn't know a lot of it. He's still learning it. It's going to take time to master it. And if you look at the color scheme, nobody really knows the true color scheme of the characters. Now, there's art out there, artists who have colored in, you know, what the manga image looks like, or what color they think his hair is going to be, and all of that. But we don't technically know. We don't know what color that aura is going to be. And we won't know that for a few months. I think the word around in the street is around, you know, the end of the year, towards the holidays, like November, December, where they're going to put out a color version of the next chapter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to hopefully dictate, you know, the true, what Toyotaro really wants us to know as far as that's concerned. It's going to tell a lot. And the reason why I say that is because it may not be purple. It may not be purple, you know, streams in his hair or highlights or whatever you want to call it, and that might tell a lot of the story. Because if you think about, but not Vegeta, if you think about Goku's Ultra Instinct, think about that. All right, think about when he first unlocked it, when he fought, when I think he was fighting, who was he fighting? Jiren. Okay, and what it looked like, it was black, but it had white or silver kind of edging around his hair. Right now, that was because it wasn't mastered. Now think of the mastered version of the Ultra Instinct, and it's like a silver whitish kind of color, completely covered. His whole hair is colored now. All right, think of Vegeta in that sense as well. Okay, this is fresh, whatever that you want to call this Ultra Ego, that's what he calls it. It's not set in stone. Okay, like I said, they could give us a color of, who knows what color it's going to be. It could be blue, it could be red, we don't know. And then once it's mastered, it's going to probably take on a different color all on its own anyway. So be looking out for all those things. Some people even say or claim that he may regrow his tail with this new form once it's mastered. But that's the thing that keeps me excited about Vegeta and his newfound power, if you want to call it that, because it's not fully developed, not even close. He just unlocked it fighting Granola. So there's going to be time for that. And I hope there's something to love about what's coming up next. Like I said, though, I don't know, guys. I think the transformation as it stands is cool. If you're a Vegeta fan, you're kind of cool with that, because at least it's something he's added to his repertoire. You know, I look at it like that. But after that, beyond that point, I have no clue what's going to entail, what this all means, you know, as far as he's concerned, in all of that. Now, we speculate all day long with what's going to happen. And keep in mind, Frieza has not been seen yet. I don't know what angle they're going to go with this story when we build up to the climax. But right now, Vegeta has not been spoken of. Granola wants to kill Frieza. Did I mention? Okay, I'm tripping. Frieza has not been mentioned, has not been seen. Okay, we know Granola wants to kill him. All right, as we know, who knows? Not Vegeta. Frieza could be out there right now training, trying to get stronger. We don't know what the fuck we have in store for him. What's in store for him yet? You got the Heaters that just came down trying to find the Dragon Balls as well. So it could be, Granola finally seeing the error of his ways and linking back up with Vegeta and Goku, and they going after the Heaters, or they could be going after Frieza, or Frieza could be the, who fucking knows? It could be. There's so many things that this could entail. And it could be them going against Frieza all over again. Because Frieza will stab you in the back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. He does not give a fuck. And that's part of the reason why I love him so much. But like I said, who knows what they're going to write for him? Could the Heaters get these wishes and start clowning and wish upon the star on some crazy shit? And then it has to be Vegeta, Goku, Granola, and Frieza versus these guys? I don't fucking know. I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that Granola is going to. He may get cool with the Saiyans, but I don't think he's going to feel that same way about Frieza, no matter what is going on. So I don't know, man. It's going to be up in the air. But as far as Vegeta's ultra ego is concerned, there's a lot that we're missing here. There's a lot that hasn't been given to us yet. And if you look at all of the writing on the wall, if you can read between the lines, you can see some of these things start to develop. Okay. Also, let me mention that the form wasn't working as intended. Okay. This form is supposed to have you become stronger as you take more damage. But in retrospect, looking at this chapter, he was literally getting weaker with the more damage he was taking. And I think he figured that taking damage would make him stronger, adding to the fact that this is a brand new form and it's not fully developed, not even close. That ended up reversing, and his body ended up betraying him partially because of that. I think that's just my opinion. So I think once it's mastered, it will kind of flip an on switch and reverse everything that's going on as far as what his powers were intended to do once he got into this form. That's just me speculating, throwing it out there, but that's how it played out in the manga. So we shall see. Only time will fucking tell. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that, man, because I don't want to speculate too much with this arc, with this story, because I want to let it kind of play out. I want to let it kind of play out and see what happens and see what everybody's talking about, and we'll leave it there. I also hope that we soon get the anime to come out. Now, if you had to ask me today, and I had to give you an answer today, I would say that we would be getting news in 2022 about Dragon Ball Super returning as an anime. And I only say that because by then we will be ahead by 2 whole arcs, probably going on the 3rd arc. And that should be a good place for where we're going with Dragon Ball. Now, there's been people out there that said, they believe that Toyotaro and Toriyama and them, those guys are coasting right now. They're being lazy and they're coasting off of the love and the fandom of Dragon Ball because they know it's one of those it's one of those entities that will never die. It's one that's so popular that they could put out Goku taking a shit and it will sell like hotcakes, okay? Because it's Dragon Ball, plain and simple, worldwide. Okay, you can't be closed-minded when you think about Dragon Ball because, yes, it's huge in America, but it's even huger in other places, Mexico and all these other fucking foreign lands. It's a phenomenon, and it's not going to stop making money. And I think Toyotaro and those guys are like, look, we can fucking make money no matter what we do with this franchise. The customers are still going to watch. They're still going to buy. And so that's what they're doing, I don't believe that they've really had a gun to their head, so to speak, in that writing room where people are saying, look, man, we need something new. We need something juicy. We need something good. We need something to kind of throw off the fans. And I think that's the only way, you're going to get a lot of people to change their tune. You gotta, mix it up a little bit. Okay. Kind of like, I guess, putting Android 17 in the Tournament of Power and having him do what he did. Yeah. That was the only shakeup that I got. And for me personally, it wasn't a very good one because I felt that should have been Gohan place. That should have been where they put Gohan, not 17. Okay. And that, if you're a 17 fan, I'm sure you're gonna love that decision. But if you're looking at it as a whole, I think Gohan should have been implanted in that role. But that's just me. You know what I mean? Somebody who they've written into a corner, kind of like how they did the Saiyans, and it's kind of showing now. I mean, what else can you guys do? You made these guys too OP as fuck. You made Gohan extra OP, and now you nerfing him is kind of like a white blip on a all white piece of paper. I mean, you can't miss it. It's just all in your face. So it's like, what is this? What are you doing? It doesn't make sense, and you expect the fans to just swallow it and walk away. It's hard to do that when these characters have been built up the way they have been, and then when you see something like that happen to one of them, it just kind of throws you off. Not in a good way though. And like I said, I'm not a Gohan fan by any stretch of the imagination, at least the canon quote unquote Gohan, but even I could see that this is being poorly written. The direction they're taking doesn't make any sense, and I think a lot of people want to see just relevant change that is believable, in the world of Dragon Ball. And I'll walk away from that because I'm starting to go into a rant, and I'll leave it alone. Like I said, guys, I am hyped about the next chapter and to find out what's going to happen with the tail end of this fight and what's going to happen with the heaters when they touch down. Anxious to see what's going to happen, and I really want to see what that color scheme looks like so that we can figure out at what point Vegeta is. We know it's beginning, but where this could possibly end up for him, and that's still a mystery in itself. But I'll leave it at that, guys. That is the discussion that I wanted to have with you guys with this Vegeta's Ultra Ego thing. So let's move on. Let's break down some Gamescom stuff. Gamescom just happened. I think it started on Wednesday and it ended on Friday. Gamescom 2021. So main thing people want to know that I've talked to, and I've been wondering myself when Gamescom was announced, was what's up with some of these release dates on these AAA games. All right, maybe we get some new info, some new news, all of that. But first, before I go there, I want to start on the bottom of the list, and I want to start about just some information on some games that there's some indie games out there. One in particular that I'm really looking forward to, which is called Eastward. And it's going to be available for Steam and the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is where the Nintendo Switch shines, in my humble opinion. The indie games. There's a lot of dope indie games that tend to come out on their system only with Steam as well. So you'll see a lot of this stuff coming out for Steam, but you'll see the majority of this stuff, probably 80% of the stuff that's coming out for Steam, also available for Nintendo Switch. And that's it. And they missed other consoles. Now, when you typically see an indie game that's coming out for like PS4, PS5, Xbox, those come out typically for every console. All right. But whenever you look for a game, you say, oh, that looks kind of cool, and it doesn't look graphic intensive, 9 times out of 10 is probably going to come out for the fucking Switch and PC. And this is one of those games. All right. It's one of those open world-esque type of action RPG games, and I'm all here for it. I want to play it badly. So this is one I'll definitely be taking. And plus, they're cheap on the pocket. They're easy on the budget. The most you'll see in any game be is about $30. But the average, 75% of those games are about $19.99. Okay. You can't beat that for those dope indie games. And then if you have a lot of memory on your Switch, perfect, because you can take that shit on the go. That's why I put a lot of these on the Switch. A lot of these games, these indie games, are available on all consoles, but I choose to use the Switch because for traveling purposes. Whenever it comes a time where I travel, which I don't travel much, but when I do, I definitely want to make sure my games I'm taking something with me. I will not be bored. I will have to take some games. I have to game. You know what I mean? And it saves me. It helps me relax. So the Switch is going, and all those games on the Switch will be definitely missed, okay, on there. So that's why I typically go with the Switch, those games. If I can get a physical copy, I do that if I really love the game. But that's where I'm at when it comes to traveling and some of these indie titles. Speaking of another indie title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That's a game that a lot of us have been waiting on. Just as beat 'em up fans, period. Even if you're not a fan of the Ninja Turtles, you never, didn't come up with the Turtles, this game is still going to be fun for everybody, I think. But growing up watching Ninja Turtles, that was one of the cartoons I watched before, I got an anime and I even knew anime existed. It's just a great franchise. It's still going on strong to this day. There's so many Ninja Turtle fans out there, guys. The books look really good. I've peeked my head in here and there, and it's a lot darker. And I love that about the series, that they're going in that direction. But yes, it's a very dark series. Okay, if you're into Ninja Turtles, if you're curious about the comic books out there and how it goes, yeah, man, it's a dark franchise now, which is cool. I think they have lighthearted, content out there as well. But that's the cool thing about comic books. There's so many different realms you can kind of travel and traverse in and live in. So with the Ninja Turtle game coming out, it was supposed to come out 2021. There's no release date, but I did some digging and it looks like a 2022 release now, but they have no release date information. So I don't know, man. 2022, the first quarter is gonna definitely have some fucking heat. It's gonna have some fucking fire, and that's typically when we get one of our big runs in video games when a lot of releases come. That first quarter, we always get releases. We always get major AAA releases in there, and it's gonna be a doozy this time around as well. So for everybody who doesn't have a PlayStation 5 yet, man, I mean, you got till about February to kind of make this stuff start working. Really, I'd say January, if I'm being honest, depending on what systems you got. If you don't have a next gen system yet and you're trying to get one, whether it be an Xbox Series S or X or Sony, I mean, you want to do that by January, by mid-January, because, these are when the games are going to start to trickle out. Before I get to some of the bright spots of this fucking Gamescom, I want to talk one more thing. And I want to talk about an update that's out now. Currently, as I'm speaking into this microphone, it is available now if you're a Monster Hunter Rise fan, if you're a player. I haven't played Monster Hunter Rise in a minute. Guys, I need to go back to it. And I also need to go back to Monster Hunter Stories too, because I have a lot of Monster Hunter still to be played. So much too. So, but that being said, there has been an update and a character has been added as a playable character. And this is crazy. When I saw this shit, I just couldn't believe it. But Akuma from Street Fighter is available as a playable character. He even has custom armor that you can attain in this game. But he looks awesome. I mean, to be out there playing with Akuma, that's crazy strange. But I'm sure everybody is going to at least take a gander at it and take a look at it and see what they can do. It looks awesome. I'm definitely curious checking this out. I think it came out, it dropped on the 27th. So yeah, it's out now. With this update, it's crazy. I don't know if it's free or not. I'm going to have to look into that. I don't think it's free, but if it's free, that's even better. But I'll check it out and I'll readdress this stuff next week for you guys. But the simple fact that he's there, just go check out the trailer, man. I mean, I lost my fucking marbles when I saw that shit. But let's get that out of the way. That's done. All right, now let's get to these AAA game release dates. Like I said, the first quarter is going to be ridiculous, very stupid. All right, and one of the games that I was personally waiting on was for Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. Okay, not Forbidden West, Forbidden West. That's how I say it. You know what I mean? So, but yes, February 18th, man. February 18th, 2022. That is the release date. When I found this information, I said, okay, I guess I have until February 18th to find a PlayStation 5. Okay. If I really, really wanted to play it and I didn't have a PlayStation 5 by then, yes, I could get it for the PlayStation 4 and I could upgrade it when I got the PS5. And that's probably the route I'll end up taking if I don't have a 5 by then. We'll see how it pans out, man, because with the COVID shit still in the air, the variants and all this other crazy shit happening, who knows what's going to happen next, guys. We've seen it all before, and we may see it all again. Just when everybody started coming back into their own, we get all this stuff coming out. So who knows what's going to happen with these PS5s, because that is the rarest machine out now. I mean, now you can get Xboxes at your local GameStop, man, pretty much. You're not that hard to find, especially the S's. The S's are the easiest thing to find right now. And if you don't have one, and if you have the Game Pass or you're interested, I highly recommend getting that. It's only $300, guys. You cannot lose. That is the best bargain for your buck. I promise you. That is the shit. And then we have all kinds of games coming day one to the Game Pass. One in particular that I wanted to, that I talked about on this podcast before. I think it's called Midnight Fight Club. I think it's what it's called. It's a fighting game. It looks awesome. Create your own character, get out there, but that game is, even though that game has no release date, still we know it's 2022, but it's coming. It's coming, and it's going to be available day one. And there's many more. There's a lot more that are coming. So I just highly recommend that for anybody who wants to get into next gen gaming. To $300, man. It's not going to cost you anything. The Game Pass is like the best thing money can buy right now as a gamer is concerned. If you don't have an Xbox or any Microsoft kind of thing right now, and you're a guy like me who was a Sony guy, or maybe you're a Nintendo person, or both, and you're looking for that next thing, this is it right here. Those are the easiest thing to find. You don't have to worry about games, because if you didn't have the system before, you're not collecting Xbox games, so you can just go straight to get your game system and download your games there. Boom, you're not losing anything. Okay, I think that's the wave. I really do. But that release date, man, I got to find a PS5. Hopefully I can find one. I'm not paying scalp prices, guys. That's it's not gonna happen. Okay, but at least we got the release date. I'm sure, hopefully, God of War. I don't want to say second quarter because I don't know. Who knows? But we got one coming. All right, we got one coming on the 18th, and that's a doozy. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Also, Dying Light 2. I'm sorry, that's coming out December 7th. For you Dying Light fans out there, I know a lot of people were waiting for this game. I hear people talking out here in these video game streets, and that's one game that's very popular. Not my cup of tea, but hey, it's coming out December 7th. So like I said, guys, that's this year. Okay, 2021. That's decent. All right. Now, Halo Infinite. Everybody was wondering, when's this release date coming? Even though it's going to be half baked, it's not going to have everything that should be in the game, but you're going to still get to play it. That's going to be December the 8th. Okay, 2021. So you're going to get it before Christmas. It's going to be available if you guys want to get on this Halo experience. So that'd be dope for all those guys out there. Now, the last two games I want to talk about, the last two games I really want to spill my guts over, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start with the first one, and this is King of Fighters 15. You guys, especially the OGs who've been listening to me, you guys know I love my fighting games. That is my second favorite genre of video game, all right? And I'm a big King of Fighters guy. I love King of Fighters, okay? I named my daughter, okay, after one of my favorite characters in the King of Fighters universe, Yuri. That's how I named her, okay? Now, this game, I think it's going to break a lot of fucking molds, guys. All right, I think it's going to introduce a lot of people to King of Fighters who haven't otherwise played King of Fighters because of the whole complete changing of the guard as far as how it looks, as far as what it's bringing to the table. I think it's going to have a lot of new King of Fighter fans, and I'm glad for that. And I really like the direction they're going with this King of Fighters, man. I mean, the best graphics I've ever seen in a King of Fighters game is what you're going to see here. You don't believe me? Go check it out. Esports is definitely going to make a huge comeback in esports. I think this is going to be one of the main games that a lot of people are going to be playing when this one comes out. I'm excited for that as well. Yes, I'm not very good at fighting games. I'm basic, but I just love playing them. They're so good. I love them so much, and they're so easy to pick up and play, hard to master. And these, you're talking about SNK here, so there's going to be layers here. The King of Fighters series definitely has layers involved, so be ready for that if you're new to this franchise. And one thing that everybody in the fighting game community wishes all their games had, this one is going to have it, and I'm talking about rollback net code, baby. If you don't know what that is, it's the word I'm looking for. It's a clean-up version of online gameplay. Okay, if you ever try to play somebody online in a fighting game like Street Fighter, Street Fighter 5 or something like that, there's a frame differential. Okay, the frames are not always on point. So if you drop a combo, if something happens a lot of the time, and you know these combos front to back, and you've practiced it, all these things, it's 9 times out of 10 is due to the fucking net code. All right, the frames are off, and even if it's off by a handful of frames, that can definitely change a game. It could change you, being the difference between you finishing your combo or not. And rollback netcode is going to remedy most of that. All right, it's going to make it the smooth experience smoother. It's going to make everything better. Okay, the lag, all of that stuff is going to be fucking a thing of the past with rollback netcode. All right, and that's why people want it so bad for every game, and not every game has it because for whatever reason they either don't want to pay for it. Who knows? But this game is going to have that. They've learned from their fucking mistakes that we're going to have rollback netcode, guys. Another dope thing about this game is that there's going to be an online training mode. So you can fucking train with friends. You can train with other players, which I think is fucking awesome. I really think is awesome, guys. That's going to open up a door to a lot of things, okay? Especially for players who are professional players or they're in that same ballpark and somebody wants to learn how to play this game. Do you know how many cash now apps are going to be going off because of this? I mean, it's just another method for money. Hey, I can teach you how to use this character in practice mode. I mean, what the fuck? I think it's going to be dope. You can spar with let's practice, man. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you're holding. All right. I mean, the possibilities are endless with this. There's also offline training, of course, but that is so dope. The game is going to come with 39 characters available at launch, which is a little bit less than what they usually come out with. I think the 14 came out with like 50, but it's still cool because they still have like 13 characters. I think 12 or 13 characters still to be announced, and the roster's always good. 39 characters. I mean, Dragon Ball FighterZ, it took them forever just to get that number of characters. All right, when the game first came out, so we waited years for that. But this game, you get 39 off rip. I mean, I'm not complaining with that. Damn near 40 characters to choose from. I'm not complaining at all. Then we have the reintroduction to 3-player teams. That's back as well. So it's just a lot. And there's some things that I have not mentioned, but that are still coming. And that's cool. This game's going to be the complete package as far as the King of Fighters franchise is concerned in my eyes, guys. I mean, this is a game that if you like fighting games and you don't really, or you never have really fucked with King of Fighters, this is definitely going to be the one that you should pick up and jump in. All right. And it's just, I can't wait. But the only thing I hate about this is that it comes out right around the same time as Horizon Zero Dawn. I think this game comes out, King of Fighters comes out February 17th. The next fucking day, you got Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. So, yeah, that's crazy. And then, let me segue into the last game I want to talk about on this podcast, and that is Elden Ring. Oh, God, you want to talk about a game that's so anticipated. It's ridiculous. This one comes out January 21st, okay, 2022. So right after that, literally 2 weeks later, you got these two games coming out. I mean, it's ridiculous, guys. It's ridiculous what these games are coming out. So the pockets are going to be hurting, all right, very badly in that first quarter. And that's not even including all the other games, okay, all the indie games and stuff like that's coming out. I didn't have enough room to discuss all this stuff, so I wanted to touch on the hot spots, and then maybe I'll address the other things, the smaller stuff, for you guys next week. But right now, we're talking about Elden Ring, okay? And this is going to be the first truly open world game from Software. And this is cool, man. This is going to be a treat, I think. And the things that they added in here is making people's mouths just water, all right? Now, they stated, as far as most Souls games, they have, the stamina management bar, okay? And you really have to manage that shit, especially in boss fights, really any fight, because everybody's walking around like mini bosses. Anybody could kill you in those games, and that's kind of like the thrill of it. You can get killed by the smallest, minute, enemy walking around if you don't pay attention and stay on your guard. But they mentioned that in this game here, they are still going to have the stamina system, but it's not going to be as crippling as it was in the last games. It's not going to have as much emphasis on it. So yes, it's still there, but it's not going to, in other words, they're letting you, combat wise, they're letting you be a little bit more free, have a little bit more freedom, and I can only say that they're doing this is because these enemies out here are going to be treacherous as well. I mean, they've always been treacherous, but this is definitely going to be that extra layer on it. And I got excited when I heard that. And I also got excited when I heard that they were going to, it's going to be available for every system as well. Let me just put that out there. Every system except for the Switch. So PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X. I mean, PC, everywhere. All right. Only thing I don't know if it's going to be crossplay or not. I looked into that, couldn't find anything on that. But if it is, oh man, it's the possibilities are endless. Okay. But it's definitely open world. It's going to have 6 main areas to explore, and they're going to be huge, of course. And I can't wait to get into these things. There's going to be dungeons all over the place where you can go. I cannot fucking wait to play this. Co-op is definitely something that, I can't wait to dive into. It's going to be up to 4 players in co-op. There's going to be PvP, but we don't know if too much info on it now. There's really no info how how that come to play out. There's also going to be summons, and they're going to have a higher emphasis on summons. Okay, so there's going to be all kinds of varieties of summons you can have. Can't wait to dive into that and see what that entails. Only time will tell, guys. They've been working on this shit for a long time, so I cannot wait. But here's the thing that surprised me the most. Let me mention this real quick. There's jumping in this game, okay? You can literally jump. There's a jump button in this game, and there's fighting on horseback because, like with the open world game like this, you're going to be running around, huge landscapes and things of that nature. You're going to need transportation, and, horseback is definitely going to be there for us. So, we're not going to have to walk it all out like, certain other RPG games, which is cool. But the thing that got me the most excited, believe it or not, about this game is it's going to have fucking stealth gameplay, stealth elements. Stealth, what? Are you serious? You can sneak up on people and knock them out and do all this other stuff in quiet. The builds are going to be so crazy. And the reason why I say that is because they also mentioned that they're not going to be handcuffing players as far as weapons are concerned now. When you have like a certain weapon, you have to have a certain skill to use this weapon. No, that's out of the window now. So you can literally pick any weapon you fucking want to use, and you can make the most hybrid build you've ever made in your fucking life. And I think that right there is going to be what's selling it for me, because the customization that you can have on one character, I mean, no 2 characters will be the same. No 5 characters will be the same. No 10 characters will be the same with this recipe, because you can literally go in and pick any weapon you want. Or weapons, and your class doesn't really mean anything. Maybe it means something at the start, but you can go any direction you want after that. And that's going to be so dope. I cannot fucking wait for that. I mean, stealth, you can create like, an assassin build, a true assassin build if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to play this. And then the co-op, the 4 up to 4 players, I mean, it's going to be so crazy, guys. I'm telling y'all, the hype is real for this game, and words cannot do it justice. There's so much more to it than that, but I advise everybody to go watch the dev video, trailer, whatever you want to call it. And I hate that the press got a chance to play this. The press got a chance to play this shit, and they love it, and they can only talk about it. They can't tell us anything else about it. They can only talk about it. And hopefully we get to see the gameplay that they got to see and they got to have a chance to look at eventually. And, in today's age, why do we even need that? I mean, everybody has everything right at the palm of their hand anyway. So why not just reach out and just let us take a look? It's only going to create more hype for the fans, to play this. So I don't know. That's just my humble opinion, guys. That is Elden Ring for you in a nutshell. I mean, there's so much more to unwrap in this, but I'll leave it at that. That's where we're at. And on that note, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening. I want to thank all my new listeners that are here, and I hope to see you guys next Monday. We do this every Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, guys. And you can check this podcast out. I got a lot of things in the works. Like I said, the merch is coming out the wazoo. I've got DragonBallDrip.com. Also go check that out if you haven't yet. Gonna have new designs working there, coming out there. Just a lot of things I'm working on. Man, what's wrong with my voice today? I'm tired as fuck. I'm sorry, guys, in advance. But we're gonna have new merch, new channels, new everything coming. I mean, every year I try to top what I've done the year before and try to add and bring more to the table. So that's all I'm doing here, gearing up for 2022, and hopefully giving you guys another great fucking year with all the content and everything that I've been discussing. All right. I want to say I love each and every one of you guys. I want to thank everybody for downloading the show, streaming it, however you consume it, going to work, jogging. I don't give a fuck. You could be having sex to this shit. It doesn't matter, but you're listening. So I love you for it. And with that being said, I'm truly going to get out of here, guys. I have a lot of things still to do. And thanks, guys. This is Studio Maguyver, and you have been listening to Studio Maguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.